Stickers on this, but we're thinking of doing it. I saw it. Oh, we, if I do the first weapons of those, we're gonna do the giveaway during the here days. We decided to get us to do. So we have some books and stickers. We donate them to the library. They take the stickers off. Which should we do?
There's maintenance for everybody.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I don't know. Kelly's been asking me on. Are they removable stickers? How big are the stickers?
They're about the size of a label.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It does.
I gave the books. I gave the books.
Hey Ed, how are you? Good to see you. Long time no see.
I didn't know you didn't get a response.
This is Tom Pettigrew. And Peter. We're thinking, John, that we went to the Trump rally. Well, maybe show up. We'll see.
Hello. Morning.
We're expecting a big crowd.
That gets a little more. I love everyone, you know, the hugger.
I was in Alabama. Oh, had a great time. Three days in a row, 18 months. Okay. I wouldn't mind getting out one more time. See how the weather goes. It was okay.
No problem. I'm not going to hold it. Make sure I'm not stupid. No, I want to make sure I'm here. And then back. It's all good. Thank you.
Saturday night.
Good, how are you? I'm feeling peachy today. Oh, yeah. I love those. Are they wowsy birds or? I know, I'm in the exact same position. Oh, you did?
There, and you're not on the camera yet. Thank you.
There they are. Netherlands, well, of course, they're from the Netherlands. I usually like the Danish ones. I'm gonna take a picture if I can, because I can't read it, it's too tiny.
Yes,
exactly, no.
I had a doctor.
Thank you so much. How are you? Yeah, I like. I can scoot over.
You never know how long it's
You can scoot over one. Out.
You can scoot.
I need a new chair because I'm supposed to share, my house and I need to go. I'm not sure if she's in the hall to get my seats or if I still put them after.
Yeah, last time we saw Ed was at the
So I
alley.
It's 10 o'clock, the meeting will come to order. I want to remind everyone that you cannot approach our table unless you are invited by the board, okay? Roll call, Bonnie Lawrence, here. I am here, Peggy Brotzke, John DeAngelis, Perry Valle, Carol Brown, and Bill Marquardt is absent. So we have 6 board members present. Next, we have prayer and pledge, which is led by a board member. Could I have everyone please stand? Will Carol Brown please lead us in the prayer, and John DeAngelis please lead us in the pledge. Carol, would you like to lead?
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity to meet. We invite your presence here with us. We ask for your guidance, Lord. Help us to make wise decisions that will please you. In Jesus' name, amen.
So please remain standing for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. At this time, we have additions and deletions to the agenda. Are there any additions or deletions? Addition. I would like to put, under new business, I would like to add discussion about the possibility of ending the library's membership with the ALA and the MLA. You said a discussion?
Yeah.
Okay, are there any more additions or deletions? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve the agenda with the addition of the ALA and MLA ending their membership for discussion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried to approve the agenda with the addition. Consent agenda. Approval of the minutes of the September 18th regular meeting, financial reports, assistant director report, facilities report. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I have a correction for the minutes.
Okay.
And I apologize, as I was looking at it, I realized it's been for several months.
Here, do you want the microphone?
I have a correction for the agenda, and it's really, or on the minutes. It says that I am from Marathon Township. I do not reside in Marathon Township. And I realized, I went back, it's been, every time I've been here, it said that I am from Marathon Township. I live in Elba Township, so I'd like that correction made. Thank you.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda with the correction of Bonnie Lawrence's township residence from Marathon to Alba?
So moved.
Second? Wait a second.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried to approve the consent agenda. Okay, this brings us to our first public comment time. Just remember, you are allowed 3 minutes. We have 2 public comment times. You are allowed to speak at 1. I want to remind everybody to be respectful of those who are speaking. Do not interrupt them. Do not heckle them. We all have a freedom of speech as well as opinions. And we have to respect each other's opinions. And respect our equipment. Please don't slam it down. Thank you.
Susan Huff, Metamora. Folks, you keep saying the library is getting bad press. It isn't true. The library is not getting bad press. Library board, however, is getting bad press. I was actually compiling a list of things the board majority members had said and done to bring that on themselves, but then the Lapeer Township Board meeting happened, and one of the library board majority members put on a display that was just too classic to overlook. This board member, who gives great lip service to being respectful, used the award-winning children's book, It's Perfectly Normal, in an apparent attempt to bully the folks recording the meeting. In her comments, she ignored the fact that this book is intended for children 10 and over and implied it's a book for 6-year-olds. She also said how worried she is about what would happen if a 6-year-old looks at this book, ignoring a fact well known to her, that library policy doesn't allow 6-year-olds in the library without their parent or guardian. So if a 6-year-old sees this book, it's their parent or guardian's choice. Again, these are very misleading statements, the kinds of things that have been repeated over and over and over. A warning followed that she was about to display a copy of an illustration from the book that folks might want to turn away from because it's so offensive. She flashes it to the board before quickly turning to hold the illustration directly in front of the camera, at which point the chair of the meeting has to tell her to address the board and not the camera. She then says, I know, but they like to get me on camera. After that, she announced that she personally challenged the book before she was appointed to the board and said, quote, that's the kind of thing that if it comes before the board as an action where we can put this in a place where 6-year-olds aren't looking at it, I would vote for that, end quote. And that, folks, is censorship. At the end of the meeting, she childishly walks toward the camera again, shoving the illustration in front of the camera. I was embarrassed for the library board watching this performance. Maybe the ad hoc bylaws and policy committee should consider working up an ethics policy for the board, because if this is what a board member advocating for the library looks like, you are in for a lot more bad press. Although I brought my own copy of It's Perfectly Normal with me today, I won't be showing you an illustration from the book. Instead, I will leave you with this image, which is not perfectly normal. Thank you very much.
Is there anybody else from the public who would like to speak?
Leslie Getz, Benito Township. Mrs. Brotzke reported yesterday that there's been only one person that expressed interest in the possible advocacy committee. I'm assuming that she was referring to me because I know that I wrote an email to the chairperson to express an interest. So I just wanted to speak to the entire board to say that if you so choose to form this committee, I would be more than happy to serve as its chair. And I feel confident that I could find some more community members that would be interested in serving and working with the library board, working with the staff, working with the Friends of the Library, and working with the general public in a manner that would be positive toward the library and about the library. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Julie Fernandez. I didn't write anything down, but I always feel moved to address you, Paul. Thank you for the work you do, and thank you for the work you don't do, because it looks like we still are needing a director and we have other positions that are missing, which prevents us from getting some necessary funding that we so desperately need. In your efforts, and I'll address the more conservative end of the board, in your efforts to try to save children from seeing things that they shouldn't see, you create a problem, because there are lots of young people that need access to all kinds of wonderful literature that's out there and all kinds of things that are deemed appropriate to be banned by some. I'm thinking about Brandy Carlisle, who read Elton John's book, and she's a prominent, wonderful singer that many of us enjoy. And she needed that lift in her life, and she realized that her sexuality was different than most of the people around her. I'm trying to think, there's a great philanthropist in New York City who created the High Line, and it's an elevated tracks that run through the city, and was not being used by trains, and he created a green space that is enjoyed by so many people. But in an interview, I did note that when he realized that his sexuality, that he thought he was gay, he didn't have anyone to talk to. But he got on his bicycle, he rode to the library, and he got some books to help him understand his sexuality. And he went on to be an incredibly successful adult, and somebody that, that I certainly appreciate. We just don't know who we're hurting. And I'm frustrated right now about politics. With the government shutdown, Trump has stopped federal projects in blue states. And I think there are a lot of people that supported you in those blue states. There are Republicans there that supported you from those blue states. You are hurting your own people. And I would say the same for you. You don't know who you're hurting by restricting or taking votes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
It's Perfectly Normal is a children's book that helps kids understand their bodies and how they change as they grow. Some people, like members of the board majority, are not comfortable with such information and want to see this book removed. I know parents who have decided to explain the body, its parts with actual names, to their young children. The mother, a medical professional, believes the info can be explained in ways that educate and reassure children. These parents have made their choice about raising their children, and it's not the choice a stranger on the library board should be making for them. At the February library board meeting, Peggy Brotzke said, "I have no intention to ban books. I would like to know why so many people are believing this." On Monday, at the Lapeer Township board meeting, Brotzke admitted to petitioning to have It's Perfectly Normal removed from the LDL. We knew she had petitioned to remove it because a documents expert had confirmed her handwriting on the request, which had her name redacted. Had Brotzke forgotten she had filed the petition to ban books last February? Did she just remember 3 days ago? It's been revealed that a number of LGBTQ+ books have gone missing from the LDL. Were they slipped out by kids or removed by anti-gay book banners? A majority board member was overheard last spring bragging about having a trunk full of LDL books. I don't know if this is true, but since some board majority members have recently said they're not against LGBTQ+ people, shouldn't they be trying to get these stolen books replaced? At the September meeting, majority board members tried to blame library defenders for giving the library bad publicity. What we are publicizing are the damaging actions of the board majority, which are fully documented. The harassment of library staff and 2 directors, documented by newspaper reports and resignation letters. Attempts to defund the LDL through the Axe My Tax campaign, documented on videos. Attempts to suspend book purchases for the LDL, also documented. The citizens of Lapeer see what you are doing and they don't approve, as evidenced by speakers at board meetings. In September, 15 speakers supported the library, 5 speakers supported your policy. 18 for the library and only 3 on your side in July. 15 supporting the library and 5 on your side in June. The numbers are even larger on the editorial pages of the county press, including a letter against you signed by 103 residents, plus over 200 signatures on the petition condemning John DeAngelis for supporting Axe My Tax. You may see yourself as heroes, but the residents of Lapeer see you as dangerous religious zealots. We are committed to defeating your campaign, saving the LDL, and finishing the final chapter of this horrible story of bigotry and intolerance playing out in Lapeer County.
morning. I slowly got involved in this, and I'm seeing crap that turns my stomach. I have been going to ad hoc committee meetings and listening to what's said and done. Mr. DeAngelis at one point, when the board was discussing what recommendations they were going to make regarding FOIA requests, made the statement that they had to figure out what somebody was going to do with a FOIA request, why they wanted it, what they do with it if they got it. That's not your job. It's public information. Miss Peggy has said several times that she has been labeled as a book banner. At the last meeting here, she said she was considering legal actions. I've had several people tell me they couldn't talk anymore because they couldn't afford to have to fight a lawsuit. I'm going to defend you. You may not be a book banner. It's a semantics thing. You're a book restrictor. It's a fine, fine line, but when you're standing on it, the result is the same. I have watched the ad hoc committee. They have never started on time as long as I've been going to meetings. They've always ended early. As far as prep, we have to sit there and watch the paint dry while these people read a page that they're supposed to be discussing. There's only one person that runs that meeting, and that is the lady Kelly. She tells everybody what changes need to be made and then asks the question, anything else? And everybody just nods their head and goes along. I was the one that was blamed for raising question about not being able to hear at the meetings. And the meeting on the 2nd, Miss Peggy, there was 4 people that showed up for it, and she had to look across the table and ask Miss Carroll to please speak up because she couldn't hear what she was saying. There was one person between them. If people had the time to go to these meetings and listen to the crap that goes on, there's only 1 or 2 of you that would be sitting there.
Good morning. I'm here today because of the people that are sitting in this room. I have seen a pornographic material available to children and teens under the age of 18 within the Lapeer Public Library. Repulsive is an understatement. I couldn't believe what I was reading, and I'm a grown woman. Anyone who thinks that these books are appropriate suffer from the worst kind of mental illness. When I was in school, this material didn't exist. I'm sick of this garbage being pushed in kids' faces. It has gone on for far too long. Whatever happened to kids having their innocence instead of it being stolen by their own parents? There are people in this room that support pedophilia, the trans movement, which go hand in hand, by the way.
Such a pile.
And the grooming of children and conditioning of minors, and in my honest opinion, should be investigated for child abuse. They most likely have pedophilia tendencies themselves and should be investigated. Any normal person with a brain knows these books are disgusting and not appropriate for kids. It's also not okay to harass members on this board. I'm wondering where these people get the time to protest all the time. Do they not contribute to society? Do you not have jobs? And being a menace to society doesn't count as a job. Do they not realize that they're protesting about books that are still available to the public? I'm so confused, even more than they are, what their purpose really is. I'll pray for their tainted evil souls that one day they get it right with the Lord. Don't mess with God's children. Thank you for dealing with this unnecessary nonsense that you shouldn't have to deal with at all and fighting the good fight. May God bless you and God bless America.
Good morning. My name is Rose Navarre. I'm from Addison Township. I want to thank everyone at the board for the work they do. I've been getting more active in government for the last 5 years, and sitting as the observer watching people, I have to say I am stunned. I mean, the books in the library, people talk and constantly refer to that the people, the conservatives are against LGBT. You don't know these people. They have family members who are gay. They could have family members who are transgender. You don't know people, you only know them for sitting there. I have family members who are gay, I have friends who are gay, okay? These books, and I remember the big meeting, most of the people against these books had not even opened the page. There are illustrations, I'm an RN, there are illustrations a 10-year-old should not have. You can talk about, being, sex ed, the way we learn sex ed, but you don't need illustrations, and they're graphic illustrations. They may not be pictures, but I took a picture from one of the books and I show it to everybody because it's not porn, because it's an illustration. 100% of the people I show to, and I have a lot of liberal friends, are horrified that those are available to 10-year-olds in the library. They're like, what happened to, if you have to be 18? I go, I know. So that's, I really am tired of the word banning, and yes, I understand you're saying restrictive, but children cannot go buy cigarettes, children can't go buy alcohol, they can't go buy pornography and see illustrations like that anywhere else. So it isn't about gay and homophobia, it is not. It is about these illustrations, flat out. I love what she said because it's what I say. Protect the innocence of childhood. This is chaos. Kids, between COVID, do you realize it? You guys need to look up the mental health statuses over the last 5 years of children. We are in a crisis because of COVID, the lockdowns, children developmentally because of the masking are years behind. There is so much going on, and we sit here fighting about 10 books that people just would like to be out of the reach of anyone. I don't even know the age people are saying, 16, 18. A 10-year-old should not see these books. So I am absolutely opposed to having the access to 10-year-olds seeing these books. But it isn't about gay rights. It's like the guy who did the line up there, wonderful. This isn't preventing him from doing his beautiful job in life. It is about children. So please stop bringing up gay and homophobia and transgender phobia. It's about what children should have access to. That's my opinion. Thank you very much.
Hello, Gigi Griffith. All right, let's talk about innocence. It's Perfectly Normal was used in a '97 court case about sexual abuse in Delaware. It was first reported by the Philadelphia Inquirer. A 10-year-old girl was able to check the book out and use the chapter on abuse to tell her mother she was being sexually abused by her father. These things unfortunately happen. The father was sentenced to over 60 years in jail. In the newer editions, there are sections on online safety and cyberbullying now. We all want to protect children. Doesn't that mean giving them the tools to advocate for themselves and to help them be safe? Why would we seek to take away a book that has been called a hero by a federal judge? If we want to stop abuse and child trafficking, shouldn't we be doing everything and anything we can to help them? Personally, I would do whatever it takes to help the children in my life be safe. I know children who have been abused. If you truly care so much for all children and their safety, I can only assume you would do the same. Is there anybody else?
Carol Lynn, Marathon Township. First of all, I disagree with the policy, you can only speak once. I disagreed, I didn't like when the county commission did their policy, oh, you have to speak for, about an agenda item first, and then second, you can speak about whatever you want, because it could be the agenda item, right? How you felt about their decision. So I disagree with that, and I think we should have 2 chances to speak. And because I am speaking about an agenda item, I'm sorry if I offended anybody by hugging my favorite librarian, but I'm very, very excited for Alexis. A joy. We go to the Columbia Library. We have discussed different issues. We've discussed so many books, and like I'll bring a book up to the desk, and she'll say, "I thought of you," because she knows my interests. She knows, she knows what we talk about and food and baking and just all kinds of things. So I couldn't have more joy to have Alexis at the end of it. And it's exciting because we don't go to the big library very often, but now I have to because I have to make sure I get to see her. And talking about all of us, you know, we honestly have more in common than we don't. And, you know, Rhonda and I both live in Marathon Township. We, you know, both go to meetings and all of that. And, sorry if I said their music. But, you know, today at the county commission meeting, they were all talking about their favorite book, so I got up and talked about mine. And then I brought it today to show her, 52 Loaves, all about baking bread. And I brought another book because I thought, oh, you know, this is my favorite author, Marlene de Blasi. So I brought it to show her. It's about Italy. She lived in Italy. I didn't know that. And we have so much in common. And I do, you know, I still believe that these books, as far as I'm concerned, they are pornographic. They should not be in the hands of children unless a parent if a parent wants to, whatever. But I still have those opinions, and I know all of these folks have their opinions, but I will stick to that. Someone talked about, you know, children who have been abused. I know children who have been abused. I know a child who was abused, and a 5-year-old abused other children. You know, I just feel like some of this information you get more and more and more, it opens, it's light bulbs. And sometimes those light bulbs, you know, you don't need to be turned on. So anyway, thank you.
Is there anyone else?
Yep. There it is. First of all, those of us who are up here fighting against banning books are not for pedophilia or anything else. We're for upholding the First Amendment. That is the end of it. It's perfectly normal as a book has been used in schools in sex education classes, which start when kids are about 10 years old. FYI. How do I know? Teacher here. Also, children have been abused, and it's not because of a book. I know children who have been both physically, emotionally, and also sexually abused by an adult, and it wasn't about a book. Lastly, I am absolutely appalled that you would even discuss getting out of the ALA or the MLA. These are library associations. They're there for your benefit. So I would say have your discussion, but in the end, understand that these are two organizations that will be very helpful to you. And last of all, have any of you gone through the board training yet to understand the parameters of your job? I'm guessing no. Because some of you still don't understand the parameters of the job.
Anybody else who would like to speak? Seeing none, we'll close public comment time. All right, next up we have board reports, treasurer reports. Treasurer, or bills to be paid.
I'd like to make a motion that we pay general checking checks from September 19th through October 16th. Check numbers 15795 through 15823 for a total of $55,833.35. General checking online bill pays. Check numbers GC 4599 through 4630 for $16,960.07 for a total of $72,793.42. And payroll checking. Check numbers PC 2366 through 2379 for a total of $141,203.89 for a grand total of $213,997.31.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the bills and the check?
Oh, you did?
Oh, we made, okay, do I have a second? Discussion. All those in favor, say aye. All those opposed? Motion carried. Committee reports, finance.
Oh, yeah, this right here. This is Peggy's gonna talk about.
Or you can go ahead, you're the chairman. Okay. Just ask him to talk about it here.
At the Finance Committee meeting this week, the really only thing that came up being that we're up to date on everything else and no major expenses coming. I made the comment that we should put aside through our contingency budget, which we have approximately $260-some thousand, $100,000 to be paid to MERS to help cover the retirement costs that we're going to deficit on of about $1.5 million. We usually do this once a year. Last year we did not do it. Something came up and it just didn't get done. So I'm asking that we move $100,000 from contingency to pay MERS towards our retirement benefits.
In 2024, it was on the December agenda meeting. And we had to cancel that meeting because the room was too full, so it was on the agenda for that meeting. And then it had to be done in 2025, or in 2024, so that's why it didn't get added on to 2025.
So is that a motion? Okay, we have a motion to move $100,000 from contingency to the MERS account.
I'll second that.
Second, is there any discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried to move $100,000 from contingency to MERS. Next, policies and bylaws committee.
All of the policies and bylaws have been reviewed. All of the committee recommendations have been made. All of the policies and bylaws are either under legal review or being prepared for legal review. Therefore, I'd like to make a motion to dissolve the policy and bylaws committee.
I'll second that.
Motion by Peggy to dissolve the ad hoc committee for policies and bylaws, seconded by John DeAngelis. Is there any discussion?
I'd like to thank John and Carol for being on the committee. I'd also like to thank our community members who are non-board members and had no obligation to do this, but they volunteered their time. A lot of our work was tedious, and I really appreciate their help, and I just wanted to take a minute to thank them.
Any more discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion carried to dissolve the policies and bylaws committee. So we can take that off the agenda. Personnel, director search.
Okay, we've had, as of October 14th, we've had over 70 candidates we've talked to. Currently, we're concentrating mostly on people in Michigan. We've talked to a lot of people from all over the country, And, you know, it's a big move for some people, especially in the south. Apparently they think it's cold up here. Currently we're working on 2 people we think we're gonna get for an interview from Michigan and 1 from Kentucky.
Thank you. Lapeer County report. None?
Do you want that removed from the agenda? Yeah. Sean Shakey's.
We do want that removed, however, it's in our bylaws and it's a process to remove it, so. But thanks for asking. Okay, unfinished business. We had a motion that was tabled. We had a motion from last meeting that was tabled. The motion says, since the library's material selection policy indicates that the ultimate responsibility for selection rests with the library director who operates within the framework of policies determined by the library board of trustees, and since the material selection policy further indicates that the director shall be responsible for ensuring that the funds budgeted for collection development are allocated appropriately, and since the position of library director is currently vacant, the library temporarily pauses acquisition of new materials for the library collection until such as a time a new library director is hired or until further direction of the library board. All Lapeer library policies and employee job descriptions shall be deemed revised to comply with and be subject to this temporary regulation. That was the motion that was on the floor. It was tabled.
I would like to move forward with the motion.
I would like to move forward with the motion. Okay, so we have a motion on the floor to approve the proposed motion language regarding material acquisition. Is there a second? Charles seconds it. Is there any discussion?
We do have the shooting department heads here, which would be the ones choosing the items. If you wanted to talk with them, I wasn't sure if they have prepared some of their history on what the collection possibly gone through in the past.
Did you guys want to flip them on? Sure. Since they prepared it.
So Julie Oparka is our new
Adult Services Department head at DeAngelis, so she would be purchasing for fiction. And then Alexis Carnegie, did I say that right? Karinji, so sorry. She is our new branch manager at DeAngelis, so she would be purchasing for the nonfiction. So I'm going to let them speak. If you have any questions about anything while it goes, just let us know.
Good morning. I'm Julie Oparka. I've been working with the LDL since April of 2023, but I've been working in libraries since 2000. I received my MLIS from my state in 2018. I have always worked at the fiction desk at DeAngelis and also at the Hadley branch since I started. And the way it works at the branches is we would make recommendations for purchasing items. We look at all the literature, Publishers Weekly, all the lists and things like that, and patron requests as well. We're more than happy, if there's something that they're interested in, we definitely want to take a look at that and see if we want to purchase it for the library. I also started a book club at Hadley two years ago now, and recently started a new book club at DeAngelis. So there is a process of that, looking through all the books, and so I feel like this is really a good place for me. I'm very confident that I can do the ordering, and it's really good library service. The patrons are noticing that we don't have those new materials, and they can't even put holds on them. The way it works is once things get ordered, That record goes into our system, and LDL patrons can then put holds on them. For new books, we cannot get those from other libraries. So I think I hope you reconsider and let us do the ordering. It's really a disservice to our patrons to not have those new materials.
I have a question. You said that we can't borrow them from other, why is that?
Not new books. New books don't get released. New books don't get released to, other libraries don't release them for 6 months. So let's say a book came out in October 2025, that book is not going to be allowed to be requested by anyone outside of that library for 6 months. Same goes for us. So we keep our new books on new status for 6 months. So no one outside of Lapeer District Library can request those for 6 months.
I do have a question too. You said most of your experience is adult nonfiction. Is that correct?
Just library service. Most of my career has been as support staff, but I've done readers advisory for many years, and just working at the fiction desk and at the branch. People coming in looking for specific things. Maybe other authors that are like the authors, they want to read, or genres, things like that. So I feel like I'm really immersed in fiction and nonfiction as well. And as part of working at the Hadley branch, I do make those recommendations for purchasing. And it's really getting to know the community, what goes out, because we don't want to put things on the shelf that aren't going to get checked out.
Janelle, before she left, she gave me a list of 5 different resources that she used for like book recommendations. Do you use the AO for their recommendations?
No, mostly the websites that we use. It depends what website, what are they asking for? Are they asking for read-alikes? We do have a database that we can look up information about that to help the patrons maybe find something that's similar to what they're looking for. But yeah, there's a lot of websites out there. There's Goodreads, which is people put their own reviews on there, so it's not like Amazon where, that could be a little iffy. They could be like, oh, the corner of the book was bent. Well, that doesn't really have anything to do with the actual content of the book. So, and we also get, Publishers Weekly, book lists, and even Book Page. I take a look at that. That's something, a free magazine that we get every month, and it's free for the patrons too. So Book Page, usually they'll look through that and say, oh, here's an upcoming book, are you going to order this for the library? And of course, that would be something we would consider, depending upon the review. So, we want to make sure we're looking at those reviews and that kind of thing too. So.
You can say your library science degree, is it a master's?
It's a master's of library and information science. Yep, I graduated from Wayne State.
Your degree, and you too, Alexis, within your degree, is there any child development classes?
My bachelor's degree is in psychology, so my background definitely has a lot of child development in it there. I also have a master's from Wayne State as well. I just graduated with that this year, actually. So that you can choose to take children's development classes. It doesn't necessarily go more towards like the development of children, more towards how like literature can help them develop, and just good things to have in your collection for children. But those are classes I would say that Julie and I would both have taken from Wayne State. I also had 2 classes specifically dedicated to collection development as well. And then previous to this role, I was with LDL and worked at the Columbia Villanova branch where I would make the suggestion lists each month that would be sent in to the previous department heads to help them with ordering as well.
Specifically, we have talked about children without having a children's department head. Meg, who works in our children's area, has offered to be kind of the support for that, to show us the book orders for that. She's really excited to be able to do that. She homeschools. She has been with us for over, I think she's been at least 6 or 7 years now. And she used to run a branch. So again, those would still go through Julie and Alexis. I understand the concern about not having a director in place. My concern is with the patron services and of course the monetary part of it. We set aside a certain amount of money every year for those book purchases, and that can't roll over into the next year. I believe it's around $30,000. So if there's any way that we can make something work, I understand that we don't have a director and the board is responsible. I have no problem sending in the orders to certain people, bringing them to meetings for you guys to see what we've ordered. Our new bookshelves are getting pretty low. So I do want to find a way to work together to do that service, because we have 2 incredibly, as you can tell, qualified people in line to do that. I understand your concerns, but I just want to make sure that we're also thinking of the concerns for the patrons too, so thank you.
So end of year would be end of December?
Usually, okay, so here, it's the other fun part. If a book does not come in 2025, it is not paid for in 2025. So really, we stop our book purchases like mid-November to try to get them in. And that is just purchasing. That has nothing to do with how long it's going to take to get some lists together. I know that they have been currently working on stuff. You know, if we wanted to say, let's spend what we have now, I have no problem with that, and then we stop, you know, December 1st or something, and you guys can see the list, whatever it has to be. I'm just worried that we're going to have a very, very large chunk of money that our auditors are going to have a very big problem with next year because it didn't get spent towards what it was supposed to go towards. And I'm not really sure how we would have to work that out. So. Any other questions? I can.
The idea of you running the orders by the board, like, so the board would take the place of the director's decision.
I mean, that's how you are acting, I assume, a lot.
Yeah, and I don't mind that idea. I just it's not a responsibility that I want.
I agree. I agree.
I think it's going to leave us open for. You know, if we do see a book and we're like, oh, you know, then we're going to say we're trying to censor books, and I don't want to go down that road.
I understand.
But
I mean, I know it is not written in the policy. I don't decide the books that get looked up. I put them on order. I have no problem providing lists. It would be hard to do them before they're actually ordered, because what happens is they come to me and then we put the order in and then go to the branches. Honestly, we are so far behind right now. It is just about getting the newest releases. We have people begging for James Patterson's and Emily Henry's and stuff that we don't have. We've got people like, yes, we don't have those ones on the shelf. And so our patrons are getting frustrated with that. And you know, if you wanted to right now say, okay, we're not ordering for children's, that could be an option. If you want to call it that, to get an actual department head in there, I understand that too. The other thing to think about is that we're ordering for all our branches, so we're not just talking about DeAngelis. Our branches are getting low too. So, and those are our patrons from, as Alexis said, that they have experience with, they have ordered in the past for them. So, I understand where you guys are coming from. I want to reach across and try and figure out something that we can do the best for everybody.
So if you're saying that these books right now you don't have, there's no hold on you guys, you know, right now as far as being able to purchase books. So what's the issue right now with these books that people are wanting and you haven't?
Yes, once this came through, I assumed that it would be passed, and with them getting on the board, we were working through what's it gonna look like. I wanted to have them come to the board. The other thing, as Peggy knows, we talked about it, our main source, our main place for books is Baker and Taylor, which we got the email Monday that is currently shutting down. So that is a whole list of back orders that we have to go through. We have another vendor in place that can take our orders, but again, I need to get those orders in because I'm not sure when they're going to come in.
Who's the new vendor?
It's not a new vendor, we use them, it's called Ingram, you've probably seen them on the list. We've been using them for a long, long time. We don't do our majority of ordering through there because they don't come processed. It is great. So when we order through Baker and Taylor, they come with a barcode on the inside and spine label. Ingram does not do that. So again, the longer it takes to get those books in, now we have to process them, which they have offered to both help with too. It's even gonna be longer to get them on the shelf. So you'll see that in the bills, we have paid Ingram before too. We bought through them. I feel very lucky that we were not the only going through Baker and Taylor. There are lots of libraries who have only ordered through Baker and Taylor, and they are going through a lot right now. Because it's the same. A lot of libraries around this time look at their budget and say, how much do we have left? Okay, we have until this time to spend it. Let's get it spent this way. So we have a product set up with Ingram. It's easy to order through them. It is going to add a little bit of time through there. So, like I said, I'm willing to work with if you want lists, if you want to pause on children's materials, if you want whatever we can do to try to get some of these just the best sellers. We want to keep our patrons happy, and we want to, because it's not our money, it's their money, it's taxpayers' money. So we want to.
I feel very comfortable with your experience on book ordering. The only thing is I hear a lot of emphasis, and it's actually in our policies and in our principles, to know the needs of the community. So that seems like it's something that's going to take time. I know you know your community, you know your township, you know, but
well, we do have lists too from Janelle and Harmony. They created lists that have not been placed because they're through Baker and Taylor.
okay.
So I could catch up on back orders from them, and I would recommend for doing that just to get. I mean, they know the best sellers. They know the James Pattersons and Dan Browns and
Already have a list of like community preferred.
yeah, they did create carts before. Once Baker and Taylor started going down, we couldn't place those carts. So I don't know how many we have in there. I can get those. Like I said, I can get those ordered. I would honestly probably still run the list by these two as they are the new department heads to confirm that they think they are good choices on there. Mary did also have a recommended cart list from a donation that came in. We weren't sure which vendor we were going to use for that, so that's why she just sent me a list of them. Again, I can talk with Meg and run through it that way with her. But again, these two would be the actual decision makers.
So the motion was changed to only pause the ordering of children's books. Or if we were letting Meg order the books.
Meg would just make, I just want to make sure, Meg would just make recommendations
Make the
to
recommendations.
Julie and Alexis.
Yeah, and then we would go for you and then brought to the board?
Well, I just order them. So once I order them, I could send them along or bring them. Again, I don't know how to put this bluntly. I do not see Meg rocking the boat. Meg is a great community member. She is a really good, like I said, she homeschools. We're trying to get more into that right now. So, and she has offered to do this since the beginning of summer. With all the changes, it was just something we couldn't put on our plate at that time. So, but yes, Meg could make recommendations. Shelby too. Shelby Salins is also in the children's department. She is phenomenal. If you've attended any of our programs, she has had a hand in that. We keep track of a patient comes in and says, do you have any more blue books? Oh, we only have 2 of them, I'll check out. Let me make a note that we need more. Things like that. So she could make recommendations based on, we're lacking these ones in our system. We consider those ones patron recommendations. We actually have a sheet, I think it's still part of our sheet, that says like if someone comes in and says, I need a book about QuickBooks 2025. Oh, we don't have any QuickBooks books. Let's make a recommendation, a patron recommendation, and then that goes to the department heads. So, and like I said, I can do the back orders that we've got. I would still run them by these two because they are the ones in charge. Same thing with anything from Meg or anything in children's, it would still get ran by them.
Yeah, I would hate to lose all that money.
And I don't know what, we are already still behind with ordering because of Baker and Taylor falling. I don't know where that money could else be spent. It has to go towards books and materials.
So if we
if we altered the motion and we said, with the understanding that Meg is gonna be ordering for the children's department because she has that experience, even though she's not the department head.
I did too. Oh, I'm sorry. I should have passed this up to begin with. We made like the little flow chart that goes with.
So I just wanna, I would just want that to be like in the motion and that, okay, Meg's gonna do the ordering, but then 2 weeks, someone else is. I mean, I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah.
Based on what you're telling me.
And so on the flow chart here, the very first one where it says branch managers to make recommendations, for that, we could consider Meg to make the recommendations for children's. Or I would honestly too add Shelby in there. She is a great resource.
They could work together.
Yes, and Meg, Shelby is very busy right now. She has a wedding in 2 weeks. It's her own. So Meg has taken on a lot for us, and she has offered to do that. I do see them working together on that because they are at the desk a lot. And like I said, whenever we're working at desk and someone comes up and says, "Hey, do you have the newest book?" and we're like, "Oh, I haven't heard of that one yet." We do the patron recommendation. It goes to the department heads. One thing that they kind of didn't mention, but I think Janelle maybe mentioned it, when they are looking at these recommendations, we're looking at reviews. We're looking at library other reviews. They're not just going on Google and saying, "Should we purchase this book?" So we really don't buy anything that doesn't have a review connected to it. So that way, unless it is like a donation that we know someone wants. Like I have a couple books sitting on the shelf from Hart, who is a horse who came to our program a couple months ago, and she donated 2 books to us. Those ones we would add because we go to the children's department first, but a program donated those books to us. So things like that are really the only ones that don't get maybe looked at.
Those reviews, reader reviews or institutional reviews?
It can be both depending on what you're using, what tool you're using. There are certain websites that are more like reader oriented, and then there's certain websites or print resources that are professionals only. We try to do a little bit of a combination just because of course most of our community is not necessarily professionals in literature. They're reading for fun, so we want to make sure that they have good reviews on both aspects.
As far as materials that are donated by publishers or authors, you just automatically put those on the shelf? Absolutely. Re-review?
No.
Do you?
Yeah. It is so funny. I did not know this working libraries. We usually get 5 to 7 books mailed to us a week. It is usually a publisher who will send them out to every one of our libraries. And they get looked at just like any other recommendation. The only difference is now we have the book in hand. I can't speak to Alexis and Julie. Harmony, who's our previous adult services department, or branch manager, 1 to 2 a month, if that, would get added. It's a space issue. It's also a value issue, and we do have to make sure we can find good reviews and that it's actually prominent to what is already in our library, what is wanted by the community. So very rarely would we add those ones. I would say on the other end of donations, like I talked with that Hart, the horse one, we are more likely to get donated books from when we do author visits or programs, and those ones are more likely to be added. They'll still look up reviews, but they're more likely local authors or ones like that that get added again, but they would still go through. Nothing is automatically added. So.
I have another question. I've heard that sometimes if you want to order a book for maybe X amount of dollars, but if you order it in this bundle, you can get it for a lot less. So is that a common practice? And if so, do you automatically put all of those 5 books on the shelf?
No.
Or package of books?
So the other thing is that with Baker and Taylor in Ingram, we have built-in discounts. So it is very unlikely that we buy bundles outside of, I will say with children's publishers, we usually will buy bundles, and those tend to be buy them a lot in nonfiction. So the one I just saw, which I think would be a really nice ad, was, because we do have a lot of extra money in children's materials with Mayor being gone since June, it was small nonfiction books of every NFL team. So that was a bundle that came, and we thought, how fun, because there's always a kid who's like, I love the Seahawks. I'm in Michigan, but I love the Seahawks. and we can divide those out between our branches. I would say that's usually the bundles we would do. Would you guys do any bundles with branches or?
Sometimes with branches, it would be mostly like children's. For me at Columbiaville, we do a lot of like agriculture, so there would be ones that are like tractors, you know, grains, this kind of thing. And so I would ask Mary to just buy them in a bundle. But I think even at the branches, it's mainly the non-fiction, like children's kind of things that we would buy in a bundle like that.
I can't think of a fiction one that we did. I can't think of a fiction one that we do in a bundle. Yeah, Julie, not that I can think of, unless for some reason it was bundled like that on Baker and Taylor, but there are usually very individual orders. And that would have to be, I would like all 3 Hunger Games books because all mine are very, like, they need to be replaced. It'd be something like that, where we could maybe buy those in the bundle, but.
Well, if we could continue the discussion, I'd like to hear other board members' views on changing this motion to having the board review the children's books that Matt orders or whoever orders, just because they're.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, and
we talked about that as a compromise. Is that something we could?
The only thing would have to be is it would have to be after the order is placed, because there will be times when things are out of print or backstop or canceled after it comes in, so I wouldn't know that until the order was actually placed.
I'd be interested in hearing our attorney's view on that and the other board members, how they feel about it.
Yes, my view right now is we have the personnel to order the books. I personally know Meg, I have no problems with that. Let them do their job.
Most of this is a policy matter. The legal matter is if the board is going to be involved in the review or the approval process, you have to have that in the motion for that to happen.
So the motion has to be changed.
The motion would have to be changed to indicate specifically and expressly that the board will be involved in some element of the review. That's a legal requirement from my standpoint.
Would that motion have to be drawn up prior to, or can we draw it up afterwards? After the meeting, yeah, can we make the motion and then
It would have to be approved, so before you start doing
okay. So we can't, that wouldn't be something that we would be able to vote on at this meeting. I believe we have to have the motion, the specific language.
I can put back Mary's order through. That's the only one children I want to have. If I can work with them to get through the backstop of what we had and maybe some new orders, and then the motion can be changed and voted off the next meeting. You don't have to, like I said, we're willing to work with you.
Realistically, it is October 16th and you stop ordering books, you're saying November 15th. So by the next meeting, you're not ordering books anyway, from what you're saying. So as of right now, you guys have 30 days to order books, and after that, you're done? Is that correct?
What we can push through, if I can get them ordered, I'm hoping that they will come in. If they come in before December 31st, they will be on this stuff.
But you're not gonna order anymore after November 15th is what you're saying?
I usually don't. We can push it. This is a special
So you might be able to order some past that?
Yes.
When would be the last date that you would put an order in?
The farther we get into it, the longer it's gonna take to come in.
Right, so at what point are you like, you know what, these aren't gonna be coming in anyway?
Honestly, like third, fourth week. Because then we
Okay.
Thanksgiving. So I know it's semantics, but it's just, and the thing is, we can place big orders right now in fiction and nonfiction.
Mhm.
If you want to wait until you get more information about children's, I could have Meg come. I don't know if she would come with us, but we can have Meg come, you want us to with her when the proposal's ready for the next meeting, and that way I can get caught up. I could also have a better, once I catch up with the previous department head ones, maybe have them put in a couple orders. I could give you a better understanding of money, what we have left.
Oh, because you don't know how much we have left right now?
No.
Okay.
So I could do that, and then I could also come with some ideas that, are some quick things that we could put on order. You were talking about book kits, some more books for our library things, or our experience kits that we could put on order, so we don't need to spend that money quickly towards the end.
Okay.
So if I could get those back orders done, maybe have them put in a couple brand new book orders, and then I can come with the next meeting with more of an outline of this is how much we have left, and this is what we should be spent on. And then if you need to approve that at the next meeting with wording that changed. But
I personally know Meg too. So. I would be willing to withdraw the motion with the understanding, I feel comfortable with you guys ordering the books, with the understanding that Meg, who has experience in ordering and she knows the community, that she is the one ordering the books. And then if that would change, you would let us know.
And I should say too, I don't know if I mentioned this, Meg, just like Alexis and Julie, worked at the branch, so she ordered for Metamora branch for about 3 or 4 years.
Okay, that worked for me.
I think I heard you say there's about $30,000 left.
That is the budget for the year, $30,000. I don't need to take over your time for all of it until it's okay. When we order from Baker and Taylor, some books go on back order, and you're not charged for those books until they come in. I do not know how many books we have on a current back order at Baker and Taylor. I went to a training yesterday, and we're going to talk through how to do that because I need to get those numbers because even though that amount has been taken out of our budget, it's actually not on the budget yet. We haven't paid it. So 30,000 is about what we put aside for. I think it's 30 or 32. The last time I checked, it was around 20. That is not taking into account those back orders. So once I get the back orders figured out, it'll be much easier to see what we actually have left.
Okay. I guess I'm okay with what Peggy just suggested. Okay, I am withdrawing the motion to put the book orders.
She withdrew her second, so.
I was.
Are you withdrawing your second?
Yes.
Okay.
What's it?
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Okay. New business, new department head and DeAngelis branch introduction. Thank you. Thank you. That was more than I expected, but it was good. Thank you guys very much. Is there anything else you would like to add or?
I did just want to say both Julie and I have worked at the DeAngelis branch as well. Julie is there quite often, and when I first started, I was subbing, so I subbed all over. So community-wise, we are, we're pretty well oriented with the Lapeer DeAngelis community as well. So I just kind of wanted to put that in existence.
How many years do you have an employment in library services?
I started in 2023 with LDL.
Thank you.
Okay, next, proposed motion language for the patron behavior. Okay. Okay, this is changing the age from 10 to 12 and from, was it 3 to 5? Couldn't read mine, I had to print it off. Okay, so this is changing. Children under the age of 12 must be attended by a parent, guardian, or responsible caregiver. The parent, guardian, or responsible caregiver, who must be at least 16 years old, shall remain in the library at all times. If a child under the age of, changing from 10 now to 12, is attending a library-sponsored program on the premises, the parent, a guardian, or responsible caregiver is to remain on the premises for the duration of the program. Children ages 5 and under must be within the visual contact of a parent, guardian, or responsible caregiver at all times, including during programs and visits to the restroom. Children ages 5 and under may not be left alone or left in the Youth Services Department alone. Staff will not be responsible if unattended children of any age or vulnerable adults leave the library premises alone or with other persons. Further, staff will not be responsible for children 12 years or older who may be asked to leave the library if the child is in violation of library privacy or policy. And children 12 years or older and vulnerable adults must know their telephone number and other contact information if they are unattended at the library. It is a violation of library policy not to come immediately and pick up your unattended child or vulnerable adult if the library calls. And the unattended child or vulnerable adult has not been met by a parent, legal guardian, custodian, or responsible caregiver at closing time. A child or vulnerable adult is considered unattended at closing time if the child is under the age of 12 or the child or vulnerable adult needs assistance procuring transportation. So do I have a motion?
I would make a motion. I make a motion to accept that change to the patron behavior policy.
Carol seconds, so we have a motion by Peggy to change the patient behavior policy from 10 to 12 and 3 to 5, seconded by Carol Brown. Any discussion?
Thank you. The only changes that are being proposed are obviously the age limits from 10 to 12 and from 3 to 5. I am not saying that this is not the correct thing to do. My problem is we keep talking about being transparent to the general public. The general public has not seen this until now. We're hearing about it now. And I think this should have been part of the consent agenda, or not the consent, but what was published on the website, so that the general public would have had an opportunity to at least look at this and make comments on it.
It is, that's why we have it.
No, it is not on there. I went on the website.
I printed this off, oh no,
It's okay. This is part of the board packet. Board packet goes out to board members, and then the public can FOIA to be included on the board packet. We are getting a very long list of people who are on that board packet, so I don't know if the only thing that's put on our website is the agenda. I did confirm with Teresa, we can get this on the website. I don't know if that is something, like the whole board packet can just go on the website with the agenda. It would be easier for FOIA people because they are already in there. I think there's a list of like 10 or 12 right now with that email. And like Perry said, it would be available as soon as you guys get at the same time. But we weren't sure if that was something that could happen.
Is that a normal practice of the other?
I'll have to look and see.
I don't think they ever published any of the correspondence on the website. When I was going through, I don't remember seeing any, going through different ones. And I didn't go through them all, I just kind of skipped through. And to me, like I say, to make this proposal or motion today and want to vote on it today is wrong. It should be voted on at the next meeting. And the public should at least have the opportunity to read this. I'm not saying this is wrong. But I just feel for transparency between the board, the library, and the general public, it should have been published so they've had an opportunity to give their comments before, because after you vote on this, it's either passed or not passed, and your next public comments is after the fact. So that's all I have to say.
I do want to say that, in your opinion, it's wrong, but according to our bylaws, it's not wrong.
I understand that because you turned down the proposal that I made to add policy.
Right. Yeah.
And that
So,
was the
but-
reason- and that was the total reason.
Well, legally, I'm just saying that it wouldn't be wrong
I understand that.
if the board as a whole decided to, as the majority decided to pass it. I just want that to be clear that legally it wouldn't be wrong if we passed this. It would be if it was a bylaw that we were trying to
I
change.
understand.
Okay. Is there any more discussion? I'm sorry. Public comment time's over.
So, I know it's getting out there somehow, because it's all over social media. I don't think your idea is a bad one, and if we can do that, I don't have a problem putting the board packet on the website. Does anybody else? I don't care. I mean, and that would have given people, at least some notice, yeah.
They don't want to go through the process of a FOIA or anything
Yeah.
else. And
Yeah,
if it's
I have no
there-
problem with it. That's
And
just,
they do look at the website.
so I would say I do want to vote on this motion today, but if you want to make a motion to, in the future, have the board packets on the website, you would be more than welcome to do that, and you would have my support. But I do want to vote on the motion today. Okay. I didn't realize that I haven't given my reasoning for it yet. The reason that I want to vote on it today and the reason I think it's a good idea is the one constant that I hear from both sides is that parents should decide what their kids read. Nobody else should decide no other parent should decide or the board member decide what this child should read. And I think the only way to ensure that is that the parent is in the library with their child. And that's my reason. So I just wanted to add that in there.
Right, because if a child's there and people are saying that the parents should be watching what their kids are checking out, then the parent needs to be there, is what you're saying.
That's the only way you can be
Right.
sure what kids are doing.
Okay, so is there any more discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion carried to change the patient behavior policy from 10 to 12 and 3 to 5. Next, we have Ameriprise corporate resolution.
All right, so I'm gonna read this lovely. So this is from our Ameriprise Financial. The purpose of this form is to establish or maintain individuals who shall have full authority to sign or act on behalf of corporations under legal entity. The corporation ownership must be established prior to submitting this form. Submit one resolution for ownership, not per account. This form is used for your Ameriprise Financial account or in your insurance immunity products. Throughout this form, accounts refer to your designated account with Ameriprise Financial Services LLC. Goes to their address. So, Ameriprise Financial, the director is usually the one who is the authorized signer. So I had to sit down with them and go through all of my information. I did confirm that it can't be a board, it has to be an individual, and it can't be Teresa, it's financial, so it's outside of that range on it. So, like I said, I went through them, and they signed this. I have the form here, and then they drew it up for Peggy to sign. So that is what they needed. Just make sure. Authorized signature, yeah, and Peggy in here. So I can put this to fact through, it's mostly just my information on here, so that's why, it's the signature, or who the signer is, who the authority is, everything like that. So that is what this resolution is.
And that would give you authority to kind of detail.
Yeah. So Ameriprise Financial is what we do with all of our like bonds and trusts and things like that, and I walked through it with them. From my understanding, every director before has just done what Ameriprise recommends. Yeah, and that is all I do. You'll also see that you guys get the reports. This is the same one from, I believe that Teresa puts in your board packet, the Ameriprise Financial ones. So nothing would change on that end. Nothing would be different. The issue is that there are a couple, so our finance managers, or for this, he is great, Jeffrey. He walked through and just described everything, but there are some that are maturing, so decisions have to be made on those. And of course, all they would do is do whatever he recommended, which Danielle did the same, Amy did the same, so I believe also do the same, so, yeah.
Did we get a copy of that letter you read?
I don't, because it has my personal information in here, like my social security number and all that. So I can let you see it. We could put it in the board packet, yeah. Because they do have to take all that information, and I had to like sit down with them in person on a video call and go through all that. They have my ID, they have my social security number, all that. So that's why you couldn't have a copy of it in the board packet.
So is this a motion then?
Yes, because we don't have a director right now, somebody has to be put in charge of it. It can't be an entire board, because it has to, basically it all falls on one individual person. So it has to have a motion, and then Peggy will have to sign it. So it is a motion, yeah.
Okay, so do I have a motion for the Ameriprise corporate resolution?
I'll make a motion to approve. I'll make a motion to approve the Ameriprise.
I'll second it.
Perry seconds. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed? Okay. Motion carried for Ameriprise corporate resolution. Thank you.
I think Carol wanted to see Carol wanted to.
Okay. Okay, next, LDL to host the 2026 MMLC board meeting.
MMLC is one of our co-ops, and they had asked to use our meeting room for their 2026 meeting. It's not till September, so they just asked that it go.
Okay. Does that need a motion? I guess, since it's an action item. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
John DeAngelis, second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion carried for MMLC to use our library for their board meeting in 2026. Holiday schedule for 2025. Does this have to do with Christmas this year and Thanksgiving?
Oh, I'm sorry, it should say 2026.
Okay.
2025 was approved at the October 2024 meeting. So I'll make a note to change that.
So this is for 2026. Does this kind of go along with the board meeting schedule?
It's the similar,
So the holiday schedule is for staff
yes. It's for closures for the building.
in 2026?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the holiday schedule for staff members for 2026?
So moved. Second.
Okay, motion by John DeAngelis, second by Perry Valle. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion carried for the holiday schedule 2026 with staff. Next, we have the board meeting schedule. I just want to point out on this that this is a violation of our bylaws to be voting on this today. According to our bylaws, Article 6, Section 1, the regular meeting of the library board shall be held on each month, the date and time to be set by the library at its first meeting in January. Therefore, I would ask if I could have a motion to table the board schedule until January 2026 in accordance to our bylaws.
I make a motion to table it till January.
Do I have a second?
A second.
Any discussion?
The only thing is, we have to approve January, because where would we have that?
I don't know, because that's how the bylaws are.
Yeah. That's the
So-
only thing, and I did look back, this was done in October 24th, did you?
It- Yeah, I noticed that it has been, but again, it's a violation of our bylaws. So either our bylaws need to be changed, or what we can do at the next meeting, we can approve a January meeting to be our first one.
I mean, I would personally recommend doing it, this is just my take on it, to approve it in the October time or the fall time. Because like you guys know, it can always change in January, February, whatever. But the sooner we can get this out there, because we also have to book building.
Sure.
If you're gonna change bylaws, I would recommend changing that to reflect.
Which has to be presented at one meeting, voted on at the next, which wouldn't be voted on until December. So, all right, well, we will work on that over the next month. Okay? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried to table the board meeting schedule until,
Okay.
or until we change the bylaws. Okay, that brings us to our added item, which is the ALA, or ending the membership of the ALA and the MLA, and it's for discussion.
I can start, yeah. My reasoning for this is, I've been paying closer attention to the principles of the ALA and the MLA, and there are some recent amendments in 2025. And basically, it sounds to me like the ALA does not want any limits on age as far as minors, what they can use in the library, including internet access. They do not support internet filtering. They do not support parental supervision. I do apologize for not having this on the agenda, but I literally have just spent like the last couple of days like reading and like, whoa, that's really concerning. And the things that are being amended in 2025 are very concerning to me. And in fact, the motion that we just passed to increase the age that a child can be unattended in the library, the ALA would not support that. Their Library Bill of Rights and all of their suggested policies, that wouldn't even go along with it. Like it wouldn't align with it. So that's my reasoning for wanting to discuss it. One of the things I did want to hear is like how much we depend on the ALA. And it's my understanding that legally we can do this. We can do this legally. And the things that I've considered that might want someone not to do this is trainings. But I did take a look at the number of trainings that are available just by going to YouTube. There's a lot of trainings already out there, and I'm concerned enough about mainly that they want what I would say a free-for-all for minors, just to be able to go in, including attending adult programs, and having privacy, so parents would not be made aware. Even if they called to check what their children have checked out on their library card. So that's very concerning to me, and that is why I wanted to discuss it. And I am very interested in hearing what the other board members think about it. So I'll pass this along to whoever wants it next.
I am interested to know how much we use the ALA and the MLA. What resources we use of theirs, what's the benefit of being, just because they offer a benefit, I want to know, do we use that? So, okay.
And you guys can feel it. I specifically, since you asked, I'll speak on the training. MLA is a huge training opportunity because it is Michigan-based. So MLA, Michigan Library Association, has a conference every year. Me and Alexis both attended last year. Those are trainings from everything from small rural libraries to large libraries, from children's services to, they even have board trainings there. Also, they do free webinars all the time, and they're very Michigan specific. They have Michigan attorneys, they have what's going on in Michigan. Honestly, I use the MLA trainings more than ALA. ALA tends to be nationwide, which has good topics on broader things going on. But MLA is very good to keep up with, especially when library law changes or there's a trend in Michigan libraries. Those get covered a lot. I definitely use MLA for trainings much more. The one that I'm going to start going to next year, the management cohort, which is completely free through MLA, is all because we're a part of that group. So I will also let them speak. When it comes to policies, from my understanding, we do, like you said, our policies do not follow exactly what ALA and MLA have. And there are lots of libraries like that. So those policies are not taken for say, it's what works best for our patrons and our library. We do follow a lot of them when it comes to recommendations, but it is not, they do not govern us, if that makes sense.
So then what's the purpose of being a part of the, so what would you say is our purpose?
It's a very good way to keep up on trends in library world. They do advocate for us as well. MLA specifically, when it comes to anything legal or board trainings, those are all done through MLA. So any of those board trainings through Library Michigan, MLA will also do those. Like I said, at their conference, they have specific ones just for board trustees to attend to. They provide.
Is this the MLA or?
MLA, yes.
Okay. I'm more specific with.
I don't have a lot of experience currently using anything in ALA. I know that we've had former directors attend their bigger conferences. I have not attended one of those. And I don't know if either of you, I don't think either of you attended.
I attended a conference. I kind of think of ALA more as like an accreditation. So if you're going and getting a degree at a school that's not accredited, you have this degree, but nobody kind of sees you as like, you know, a true professional in that field. So that would be my concern with taking that away from us, is then we don't look like we are, you know, accredited with a library association. I would have to agree with Kara that the MLA is definitely more what I would go to for trainings, specifically because I was able to attend that conference last year, and they just have a plethora of things that are available, so kind of wherever you need support, you can get it. The ALA, to me, it's the same. I go MLA more because, as Kara said, it's more Michigan-based. Obviously, you can have different rules and regulations depending on, you know, the state that you're in. So ALA, just there's so much more that it's easier to kind of find what you need on the MLA. But yeah, for ALA, I would think more just accreditation-wise.
And I should mention too, the trainings, the conferences we usually pay for a certain amount. We do a discount for being involved in MLA. The majority of their trainings are free to use for us. Like the cohort I'm being a part of, there's been other cohorts, they're usually completely free because we are a member of MLA. So I do see us getting our value back for that. I have not been a part of any sort of cohort with ALA or anything like that, so I don't have, and I can look into that more to see what recommendations, you know, from our directors or assistant directors I use that for. But I just have more experience with MLA. So. Okay, Julie didn't get to go to MLA last year because we realized we were all leaving her behind, so she had to stay and be in the leader.
I know what you're saying about the accreditation, and the directors do need that according to the state. They need to be accredited through ALA, right? Which I don't believe legally, if we weren't a part of that association, we'd still need a director that had that. So I don't believe just because if we're no longer a member of that association, that wouldn't affect it. It wouldn't affect, the director still having to have that.
So Michigan state law leaves an ALA accreditation in terms of what minimum qualifications to certain director and certain other positions within the library, what kind of educational, institutional training do they have to have? And quite often they have woven into law that those have to be ALA accredited. So that's where the ALA accreditation comes in.
But us being part of the association or not doesn't affect that. So the concerns I have in regards to the MLA is that I know they support the Freedom to Read Act, and in that it supports shifting all material selection to the library director. That concerns me, having one person, no matter who it is, just having the sole authority to do that. I feel that they support limiting community involvement. They support setting strict governance for book challenges, making it extremely difficult for a community member to request reconsideration for any material. So those are my concerns specifically with the MLA. With those concerns though, do we?
I'm unaware.
Because I think, don't we have our own policy regarding those? So even if that's what they support, we aren't obligated to follow anything.
Well, that's why I'm questioning why are we members of something
Well,
that we don't.
I think it's because they just said they use a lot of the training and a lot of.
There's a lot of trainings that you could still get.
There are, but when it comes to current Michigan-based ones, like there's a webinar every Thursday that they had, or from the board, it's like, hey, the budget just passed, what does this mean for your library?
Okay, I understand. So you're kept up to date, up to the minute.
Yes, specifically Michigan stuff. When it comes to when the budget wasn't being passed, there was a kind of emergency webinar about that. What does this mean if you get? What does this mean if you don't get that? And yes, they do call to action versus please contact representatives to get the budget passed or to include libraries and stuff. It is more those side of things. I know that we're talking every day, we use it for trainings. I show trainings exact on it. And like I said, those are always free or discounted. And then the MLA, the conference is a great resource, especially for anyone moving up in the library world. When I come back from those, I list of things because you're talking small libraries, you're talking bigger libraries, you're talking records, you're talking children's services. That's the big
Okay. Well, since there's not a motion on the floor, I would like to give each board member just a proposed motion to think about for next month. And I know if we did dissolve our membership with the ALA, we would have to make changes to our material selection policy, because in the general principles, it does say that basic to this policy are these documents, and it lists ALA, Library Bill of Rights, interpretation of the Library Bill of Rights, and the Freedom to Read Statement. So this is not an official motion, it's just kind of like my idea. And between now and next month, we can all give it more thought and
And just because we aren't a member of ALA, you can still use, if you find something under resources, you can still use that.
Yeah, just not. Right.
What are our dues?
I'll have to look into it. I know we have paid MLA into next year, so that's always to the end of the year. So MLA is paid through, I believe, 2026.
And ALA?
I will have to look into it.
Okay.
I'm gonna be honest, I'm not even sure how much of a, when that one is, it hasn't come in yet. Being the first year, we have it in our budget, so I can go back and see. I make note of when everything comes in, and I don't believe we have November 2025. So I'm not sure how they work, if we're paying, if we're back paying, if we're paying for 2025, or if we're forward paying in 2026. But I can do it.
Okay, thank you. We need to move along. Staff reports director, none. Assistant director for technical services.
Were there any specific questions? My big
talk was going to be about Baker and Taylor, I've already spoke about.
Yep.
You guys have any other questions about that? As Peggy and Carol know, we just hired 6 new library assistants. I'm not gonna say that. So with Alexis and Julie both moving up to management roles, they both had scheduled time. Alexis was in charge of the Alva and Columbia branch, and Julie was at Hadley, and she did support at DeAngelis as well, so we needed both some open shifts there. And then we have lost some, we call them subs, so the sub pool. We've lost about 3 subs this year planning to, just from lifestyle changes. So we hired 6 new library assistants who they have been training all week. Both Julie and Alexis did that, and they said that it went really well. We're going to see how it looks. We may have to get some more people in depending on where we're at. The biggest things are getting Alexis and Julie over to DeAngelis, because right now they're doing about 3 jobs. They're both working their branches and they're doing department head stuff. So we want to get Alexis and Julie. That's kind of the joke that's been running at DeAngelis. We'll get you here. We'll get you on desk. So I went to a VLC meeting yesterday. So that was an in-person one. We talked a lot about our new Polaris, which is the new ILS system. I'm sorry to bring this up during the time. I did mention it during the email. Our new ILS is going to be a huge changeover. That will happen February, end of February. We do have a specific date. I'm not counting on that because things can change. Probably when I have a better date, I will be asking the board for additional closures for staff training. It is going to be a whole system overload. And that will also buy us a little time if things don't work as well in the beginning. I'm thinking a 2-day closure. We have done that in the past when we changed over our printers. It's not ideal, but it actually helps people in the long run. So our staff is trying to help patrons learn it while they haven't learned it themselves either. So once I have a better date for that, I'll bring it. Like I said, right now it's February 26th or 26th, but if not, things can happen. We all know that date will change. But everything else right now, we're just going to be focusing on looking into the alternatives to Baker and Taylor. Like I said, we have a couple already. And then the department heads and I are going to start prepping for summer reading 2026. We actually contact and book all of our performers in the fall, the year before, so that's the main goal right now. So. Yes.
Library system.
Yep.
I've been using it very little, but it does sound like it allows libraries to send a notification for parents accounts about what their children are checking out. Do you know if you will be using that feature?
I will have to look into it. There are levels that are consortium based, there are levels that are library based, and then there are levels that are branch based. So we'll have to look into it. Of course, it'll be the same with Horizon, that the parents can log in and see what's on there with the card and the PIN number, so they can see online. Of course, whatever email, if they get email receipts, whatever email's on there, they'll get the email receipt.
I understand they can call. They can call and ask.
Oh yeah, right now they can call and ask too. Yeah.
Yeah, I just would like to see notification because we have the self checkout.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wish there was some way we could just say, they get alerted on all the other things.
Well,
yeah.
And when the policy will look the same when it comes to parents and children. Whoever's listed on the account has full access to the account online too. So, yeah, that policy. I don't anticipate us having to change a lot of policy surrounding Polaris. Of course, if there is, it may be small little things on it that it just doesn't work with the same system. I'm anticipating it more being material based. The example I gave them, we just had our staff day on Monday, was that currently our new books can renew only for 1 week. On the new system, they will have to renew for 3 weeks like the rest of the materials. So that is just something that we will have to change a little bit with our policy, but it's just like little tweaks like that. So, and that people are more happy about that too.
So as of right now, you're not sure if that's a feature?
I'm not sure, yeah. Next month, I just got the email that I'm going to be training, or in December, the beginning of December, for Polaris. I'll train for acquisitions through them. We are one of a handful of libraries that do acquisitions through that system, through Horizon right now. I find it very easy, and I actually think some more libraries will be joining on for that, so I'm excited to learn how that system is going to look like, and it should make it, when you can do it on the ILS system, it makes it very easy to get the items already in the system, like Julie said, so they can order right away. So.
Okay, communications, the October, November newsletter, September circulation report, proposed holiday schedule, proposed board meeting schedule, and proposed motion language for patron. That's all in the board packets. Friends report, there's none this month. Board comments. It's only on the third. Board comments? No? Okay, seeing none, brings us to the MMLC report. And brings us to our next public comment time. If you spoke in the first public comment time, cannot speak in the second one. If you have not had your chance to use your 3 minutes, you are more than welcome to now. Is there anybody from the public who would like to speak?
Hello, thank you. I'm Kelly Nolan from Lapeer Township. This is a combined statement from Karen Brashenko and myself. Karen can't be here because she has a job. And this is times such that she is not able to attend. One thing that has repeatedly struck her as the LDL Board committee meetings is that the people much less educated and qualified are the ones who think they decide for us all. Based on what? In reviewing their applications for board appointment, I found that not one of the LDL majority has near the education of a qualified library director or librarian. Of the 4 majority member, only 1 has a college degree, and it is not in library science. And none of them has any professional library experience. One of the unqualified members seems to only want to be a board member for the $30 per diem. And these are people who think they are qualified to change policies and bylaws written by a library director and a renowned library law attorney, who of course they fired and replaced with someone who knows nothing about library law and is directing them huge fees to learn library law, and that is costing the library and using our tax dollars. They want to take away the power of the parents to make decisions for their own family. Yep, these are the people who feel they should direct the library, even drive the last 2 highly qualified directors away with their controlling method and disrespect. And these are people who seek a new director blaming negative press for the delay and the retreat of candidates. They seem not to realize that librarians will know how to use the internet and find the things they said about their desire to ban and restrict books, which is against the ethics of library science. Any master's program in library science will have to explain this to librarians in exhaustive detail. They will speak to others in the areas as librarians are a close-knit bunch. They will hear how staff has been treated by this board. So watch these meetings now from afar, since the board has decided to exclude working people like me. I notice a contrast between the qualified professionals and the board members. This meeting time change will also discourage qualified, educated working candidates who are applying for the LDL board seats. Thank you.
Anybody else from the public like to speak? Yeah.
I didn't sound like that was on. I don't think she talked loud. It says it's not. Okay. Maybe you need to put it up to that. My name is Melissa Malcolm. I am the former director of this library until 2020. I have one, well, for me it's a major concern about the accessibility of the building for me and for people. I tried the accessible entrance up front and it was locked. And then I found out I had to come downstairs and maybe I could sit on one of those seats. I do not know if my legs will let me get up from that chair. I could be tired. So that's a real concern for me, and I will make a complaint about that. I would also like to say that when we talk about selection materials and stuff, that the library board is not the director. It is under the purview of the director to know what is being purchased.
library boards do not get lists of books to check before they're put on the shelves. I have real concerns about lifting the age to 12 for children coming into the library because that means middle schoolers would not be doing by themselves after school. I find that a real detriment. And I also think that it is very unfair to vote on this at this meeting with no notice to the public that this is going to happen. And it's unfair to staff. We're going to have to tell people, oh, the policy changed, but we didn't let you know that we were changing the age, so no, you can't drop the 10-year-old off anymore. And it's really unfair to those parents who are surprised, not able to leave their children in the library. People need to notice. The transparency that Kari talked about is very, very important. I'm concerned that some people who came up to this podium did not identify themselves. That's part of the rules. And as far as ALA and MLA go, yes, MLA is incredibly useful, and I would not have been able to make it through the pandemic and all that stuff without MLA and the Library of Michigan. The one thing that ALA does provide, and of course it's not free, but they do publish book lists, which is one of the major review journals, and all of those reviews are written by librarians, so they're very, very good. If with MLA and ALA, I think it's the Library of Michigan who has paid for a membership for all libraries in the United for Libraries division of ALA, which is where you will get your board training. It's for trustees, friends, and other advocates of libraries. And it's for staff and board only. And then I think the difficulty in challenging a book would come down to filling out the form. And
Thank you, your 3 minutes is up.
Okay. Oh, and
is there anybody else from the public like to speak?
Hello, Brian Cliff here, resident of here. Contrary to what you might believe about me, I am a more conservative librarian. I'm a librarian, but I'm a more conservative librarian. In terms of what Ms. Malcolm just said, I'm just going to say both organizations, the MLA and the ALA, have value. You don't have to take what they say to heart. You don't have to enact those recommendations in your policies, but they do bring value. I happen to sit on the Michigan Library Association's Legislative and Advocacy Committee. I work firsthand with my colleagues in the industry in this state and our lobbyists at the state to advocate for libraries like Lapeer District Library, among others, who value the state aid that comes to your library, value resources like Bell and Melcat. That advocacy that our dues paid for resulted in a flat state aid budget this year, so we have no cuts. That's a great thing. It also provided for $900,000 to provision to maintain Bell and Melcat, which is another thing that your constituents deeply value. And so I roll my eyes as a conservative librarian a lot of times at what comes out of ALA, to be completely honest with you. I'm like, I don't align with that personally, but I don't have to take it as gospel. I have the obligation to say, that's what they choose to say, that's what they choose to put out, but I don't have to adhere to it. I am a member of ALA, I am a member of PLA. My library as an institution is not a member. I'm a personal member. We are institutional members to MLA. If you're going to cut something, please reconsider MLA, because it brings a huge value that you don't even understand at this point in your career. I sit over there and I cringe when I hear that, because I know firsthand, because of my involvement in that association and the level of involvement and advocacy, how valuable it really is.
Thank you. Anybody else from the public like to speak?
Marquardt, Marathon Township. I went to college for a year, didn't graduate. I was too busy learning things to go back. I don't trust experts usually anymore. I used to. I think common sense is way underrated, college education is way overrated, and common sense is a lot more than education. A lot of times, I got my education in the school of hard knocks. I don't know. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else from the public like to speak?
My name is Molly Carter, and I'm a teacher, retired teacher now. And it is a shame that we're putting the age up. Just because right now, what I look at we do is exclude junior high kids from coming in to do research and work on things maybe from school and whatever. And at that age, they're absolutely fine to be in there themselves. And my other thing is that, you all know that the parents have to be with their kids when they're in the library up until 10. I didn't know that before, but now I do. And parents are the ones that decide what their kids can and can't read. I know my parents did. And the fact that the censorship is a contradiction to this. I mean, I don't understand why you feel the need to do that when the parents are going to do that. And the books that we have, again, you might say pornographic, I might say science. I don't know, I guess that you already know, and if I interesting in one to you, that parents are with their kids and choosing to express something in life.
Thank you. Anybody else from the public like to speak? Seeing none, I'm closing public comment time.
Hello. I wanted to address the concern about the negative publicity that's out there about our library. The board majority has been trying to blame others for giving the library a bad reputation. But they're the ones that are harassing library staff, which has been documented, and posting on social media negative propaganda about our library. The board majority pretend to be perplexed as to why there's such high turnover and lack of director applicants, while they are responsible for this. In fact, I have a friend who's a librarian in another state. That's another state. And the issues with our local library are well known and discussed within the general library community. Because of the board majority's mistreatment of library staff and their intentions to undermine and disregard the expertise of our librarians, it's a place that many librarians want to avoid. They do not see the library being supported by those who are supposed to be doing just that, but as an institution under siege by those who want to eliminate people's right to free speech. Also, to address the attendees' comments that certain books shouldn't be allowed in the library, to be clear, they are talking about a violation of our First Amendment rights. I respect everybody's right to believe what they do, but they are not respecting the rights of those of us who have views different from their own. It's also extremely disrespectful to accuse others of promoting criminal behavior, such as pedophilia, just because they don't have the exact same beliefs as you. These kinds of attacks are what are offensive. I'd encourage you to review the teachings of Jesus. So I'm asking the board majority to stop blaming those of us who are just making public what they're trying to do, and start taking responsibility for most of the negative propaganda about our library that's out there. What's your name? Oh, I'm so sorry. I forgot.
Thank you. Is there anybody else from the public who would like to speak? Seeing none, I'll close public comment time at this time. All I need is a motion to adjourn. Peggy makes a motion to adjourn. Second? John DeAngelis, second. Discussion. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed? Meeting adjourned.
Excuse me, sir. My name is Helen Carter.